Ghana has been at the World Cup since 2006, but the performance of the Black Stars has left much to be desired, with many questioning as to whether or not the country can return to its former glory when it used to be called the best team in Africa, or one of the best in Africa. A number of people are also questioning whether we've used the monies we've gained from our appearances at the World Cup prudently and what investments are there to show. Well, the team has qualified once again to the World Cup in 2026. And a lot of people are so pessimistic, even the sports minister questioning the performance of the team and asking whether or not this will not bring another heartbreak to the country. Well, that's what we want to talk about tonight. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Agenda. My name is Beatrice Adu, and tonight, like I did tell you, we're going to look at the qualification of the Black Stars for the 2026 World Cup and what's in it for the country. I do have on the panel with me Mr. Eko Asma. He is an author and sports journalist. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on Agenda tonight. I have immediately on my left side as well, Dr. Ernest Quantin. He's Chief Executive, the Back Group. Doc, it's great to have you.
Good to see you, Beatrice.
Good evening to you. And of course, I have on my extreme right, left, Madam Rosalind Kurama Amo. She's a journalist with Daily Graphic. Good evening to you, ma'am. Thank you as well for joining us.
Good evening, and thanks for having me.
Of course, along the way, we'll hear from former GFA President Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo on his thought, especially regarding that exclusive interview the current President Keto Kweku gave us regarding mercenaries into the Black Stars. We'll bring you all of that. Remember that we're streaming live on 3FM and 92.7. Send us your comments and we'll read them back to you. Thank you very much once again, gentlemen and lady, for joining us. Let me start with you, Mr. Asma. What do you think brought us here? And I'm asking this question because last year we didn't even qualify for the AFCON. We did not win a single game. And a year after, we've qualified for the World Cup.
Well, thank you very much. I think, first of all, there was the reinforcement. You know, following the historic failure. Because Ghana had always been making it to the AFCON. And Ghana virtually lived in the semi-finals of the various AFCON editions that Ghana had participated in. So, following that failure, it dawned on the FA. According to the FA, it dawned on them to make some provisions for the future. But I think it was forced. But you see, we have had a new administration. Last year, it was a different administration. Talking about
political administration.
Okay, the new administration comes in. There's a new sports minister who seems not to be impressed by Adu. At least he said it on a number of occasions. He pushed the needle and forced the FA to reinforce the team. Well, since the reinforcement, Adu couldn't put a foot wrong. So I'll put it down to a little bit of political pressure and the FA cooperating with the new administration to reinforce the team to get us where we are. That's just part of it. Scientifically, though, if you check the level of competition, apart from Mali, all the other teams, Chad, Madagascar, Central African Republic, Comoros, are all ranked outside of 100. Ghana was ranked 75th.
So the competition is not tough enough this time around.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying.
Exactly. Ghana's was ranked 75th at the time, at the start of this year's campaign. Ghana's moved up twice. It's now 73rd. But the competition, besides Mali was the only team ranked higher than Ghana. But the others, and it reflected in the scoreline. To Adu's credit, even without the reinforcement, he won in Bamako. And that was his first match he took charge of the Black Stars competitively. And it was very encouraging for him to have gone to Bamako and won when nobody expected him to win. It was very encouraging. So with or without the reinforcement, Otto proved that against Mali, he was his own man. Because even with the reinforcement too, he won here. But I want to point particularly to the Bamako match. There was no reinforcement. That was last year. He won. So you couldn't attribute it to the reinforcement. But if you check the other competitions, that's not the kind of competitions we're going to be going to the World Cup to meet. And that's not real competition for Ghana.
And we'll get into that.
So it's part of the reason, scientifically, it's part of the reason we are where we are.
And we'll go into,
it's refreshing.
We'll go into the details regarding the kind of team that we are to meet and really what we need. But Dr. Kranting, where do you stand? I mean, Mr. Asma is placing where we are on competition, the fact that we've had weak competition so far. He's talking about political pressure as well as reinforcement. Where do you stand in terms of how we got here?
I will give you some historical analysis so that maybe it's the start of a new cycle. One, when we failed to reach the Africa Cup of Nations after 82, 84 were not there, 86, 88, 90. When we returned in 92, and Rosalind is here, so she's there. When we returned in 92, we're in the final. By 94, 96, we're still playing. 96, we're in the semi-final. 94, I think we're in the quarters or so. 98, we began to dwindle. 98, we're kicked out, quarter-final or so, was it? That was Abidi Pele's last tournament with us. In 2000, we co-hosted a tournament with Nigeria, but still got kicked out in the knockout stages. We were declining. And often when these declines happen, we're not sincere, we don't do sincere analysis to say, okay, these are the reasons, and we fix. So 2000, we got knocked out, even though we're co-host. 2002 was worse. Rosalind was there in Mali with the rest of the squad. We got kicked out, whether it was a group stage or so, or we got out. Exactly.
But these are at the African level. We are looking at the World Cup.
No, it's the same thing. Because when we did all of these things, we did not qualify for the World Cups of either 1994, 1998, and the year 2002. So when we failed woefully in 2002, it all culminated in us failing to qualify for the AFCON in 2004 in Tunisia. Okay? Then a new cycle began. That cycle manifested with Ghana qualifying to play in the Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt in 2006, the World Cup in 2006. Yes. Egypt was horrible. The World Cup was okay, was an eye-opener. And then we continued to grow from there. Made semi-final appearances for 6, 7 consecutive tournaments, played in the final of 2010 and 2015. Then after that, we began to decline again. So that by the time we were playing in the Africa Cup of Nations of 2019, we got kicked out again in the quarterfinals, or round of 16 or so. In 2021, group stage exit. 2023, group stage exit without winning a tournament, without winning a game. So by the time we realized we're in this mess, we needed to do something. And that's what Mr. Asma made reference to.
So let me get clarity.
Yeah. Whether the things he alludes to are the only things I'm sure will be expanded on. But then it appears a new cycle is begun. We failed to qualify for the AFCON, but we're going to play in the World Cup, similar to all of the things we experienced back in the build-up to the 2006 World Cup. So changes may have happened, but there's still so much to do. I'm sure the conversation will expand into this.
Indeed, we'll go into that. When you talk about declining, I want to understand what form it was, because again, 2006, like you said, we went. 2010, I believe we were there. 2014, we were there. 2018, no show. 2022, we were there. So this is our 5th time.
Yes.
So what have been the dynamics of the decline when you say that we started declining?
Okay,
and
so a number of things: technical, player quality, players transitioning from one level to the other. And I always say, from 89 when we started playing or making waves in international, juvenile, and youth championships, it always served as a buffer and provided players for us to play either in 92 or 94 or 96. You would find that we had under 17, under 20 players, under 23 players transitioning into the Black Stars team. Then we had a good U17 side in 1999, also transitioned to U20 in 2001, and they became the backbone of the 2006 squad that played in the World Cup. Then we had another good squad in 2009, U20, from U17 in 2007, U20 in 2009, and they became a part of the backbone for the tournaments we played at the senior level. But then after 2013, that was it. The junior teams didn't work again. 2015 were horrible, 2017, etc. So all of these things contributed to our failure and the declining I explained earlier. So if we appear to be picking up again, we easily can go back and say what may be working so that when the World Cup in North America in 7 or 8 months' time, and we didn't qualify for the AFCON, a number of reasons. Mr. Asma has mentioned some of them. Of course, now we're getting more players. If the Black Stars squad assembles today, you have more than 10 players who were born, lived out, do not, didn't grow up here in the system, etc. It is the first time in our history we're having this level of involvement by players who were not born here, didn't grow up here, etc. That may be helping to some extent. He also mentioned that we appear to have improved the technical team so that some of the mistakes we made leading to our failure to reach Morocco 2025, we appear to have corrected them so that we'll play in North America in 8 or 9 months' time.
Yeah.
Then the other bit is the level of competition in our group. We played a group that had Mali and credit, credit to the Black Stars. But obviously, if you play in a group that has Mali and Chad and all of these things, it will be unpardonable for you not to qualify to play in the World Cup.
They were not challenged enough.
And we have done that. And again, if we're going to go to the World Cup and make a bigger impact, then we're going to have to look at the level of competition because it's obviously never going to be at this level.
Let me come to Madam Mamo. A lot has been said already. You heard the major points made by Mr. Asma there, as well as Mr. Kranting. But Dr. Kranting, I'm hearing from him when he explains the dynamics of our decline that we don't seem to be consistent. Because we win, we are happy, we just go relax, and then the team is bashed and they come up again. Where do you stand on this?
Well, I think I agree with what both of them have said. But beyond that, our failure to plan. I mean, we like to do things on the spur of the moment as if we own it, and so whether we plan or not, we should be able to do it. So that is one, because if you plan, there is no way you would want to change coaches as frequently as we have done. Because if you look at the turnaround or turnover for coaches, in the last 5 years, we've had Kwesi Appiah, Milo, CK, so...
And people are still calling for Otuado's head, even now.
Well, so now, and I think that we have been very impatient with coaches. To start with, some of the coaches have also used Ghana as a stepping stone to other things. And so they would come, an initial 2 years, they would go, and then you need to start the cycle again. If you look at, since 2006, when we qualified for the World Cup, up to this point, I have lost count of the number of coaches. We haven't been able to hold any coach for more than 3 years.
Aside from impatience, perhaps, on our part, why do you think, really, we just love to change coaches?
And that is what I'm saying, because sometimes when the results do not come as quickly as we want it, then we start calling for them. I mean, there are some coaches who are just horrible. They didn't deserve to handle the Black Stars.
Which ones?
I wouldn't want to mention names, but we all know them. I mean,
I don't know them.
Chris Hilton, for instance.
We would like to know.
Chris Hilton, for instance, I didn't know why, for God's sake, we brought him. Somebody who hadn't
At least he qualified Ghana for the last AFCON. Yeah. He did.
Echo, I always said that, look, for the crop of talented players that we have, if you are consistent and you handle the team for more than 6 months, you should be able to qualify the team for any tournament, especially the AFCON. And when you find yourself in a group that is manageable, it is only when you go and you find yourselves among the likes of the Nigerians, the South Africans, all lumped up in a group, and those teams that are always troublesome to Ghana, that you would have to struggle. But one, the inconsistency of keeping coaches is one of our banes. The other thing is also, we have never been able to build the core of a team. Look, every coach comes and he tells you, I am trying to rebuild a team. So we go through the rebuilding process. They come, they dismantle, they try to chip in, they put in this player, they bring this player, and a whole lot. There are some players who also do not show the commitment. So they come and you realize that for probably psychological reasons, they are not able to fit in the way they should, because we see them play for their clubs, and yes, when you bring them, they struggle to fit into the team. So all these things have worked out, and rebuilding a team to get to qualify for a World Cup takes time. And I think that all of us had our frustrations with Otto Addo at the beginning of it, but he got the job done.
He got the job done, but you remember that shortly after we qualified, at that press conference, he said that there was a bit of luck. Do you think it was he subtly admitting that, well, maybe I didn't really do much? I think everything just worked for us.
No, not exactly.
Well, I think that he believes that as a player, as a former player, he believes that even no matter how hard you work, no matter how much you prepare, you are likely also to need luck. For instance, South Africa didn't think that they were going to miss out. They were going to be docked points, but they did. And for the fact that Benin flopped against Nigeria at the end of the day, they were going to be worried by Benin. And so luck counts, but I think that luck comes in when you prepare well. And for some reason, everybody realized that, look, failure was staring us in the face. And so now we had to realign and readjust and do what was needful, making sure that the right things were done, the right camping, the right psyche, all the things that would distract the team were taken away, and they had a focus to be able to go through the last games that they played to ensure that they qualify.
And Dr. Cranton, I realized you were reacting when I said, or I kind of rephrased what Otto Addo said after we qualified, just to get that quick reaction before I go to I go back to Mr.
Because a lot of these guys who've played the game will tell you there's always an element of luck. I call it grace. I call it the grace of God. If the grace of God helps you, you're well prepared and it helps you, yes, then you can get over the line. So I'm sure that's what Otto Addo was referring to. But don't forget that we have talked about the level of quality of opponents we faced in the course of the qualifying campaign.
Indeed.
That is a big matter. That the quality may be inferior to what we are and who we are. But we're coming from failing against similar teams or teams with similar quality or the same quality. In the AFCON qualifiers, don't forget we took on Sudan, couldn't beat them home and away. We played Niger, we couldn't beat them home and away. The same Comoros and the rest. So if we manage to overcome all of these disappointments, and now we've booked our place to play in North America, we can be glad, look at the positives, and see how we can progress by way of preparation for the tournament in a little over 8 months.
Mr. Asma, one of the things that Rosalind Amo said was a lack of planning and a few other things that she talked about. Again, as we prepare, one of the big questions is how are we even doing the selection? Are we doing the selection rooted in merit? Any form of analysis? What really are you looking at based on what we've done so far? Because I remember, I believe it was last year, Otto Addo doing some shake-ups even within the IUs and the kind of reactions that Ghanaians gave him.
That reference to IUs, I think you're talking about Jordan's captaincy. If you're saying shake-up, it was the captaincy issue.
Yeah.
And then for that same match, Kudus was given number 10, Jesse reserved typically in the past for Andre. Those two things, and it was against Kwesi Appiah in Accra. I remember that.
The Sudan game, eh?
Yes. Otto Addo may have made some mistakes in decision making. I think it's obvious he goofed on that particular decision, deciding to switch the captaincy from Jordan to Kudus without any reference or even having met with the players to discuss it, and even the basis for which it was done. And also, there was a political circus around it at the time.
What does that mean?
There was a push. Yeah, there was a political circus. At that point, there was a clear push for Dede Ayew to be called. And Otto had to answer.
And those were fair, those were fair calls at the time, because Andre had begun playing again at Le Havre.
Yeah.
He was scoring goals. And I'm sure what people looked out for was Otto firm response and decision that were transitioning from Andre Ayew and his involvement with the Black Stars.
Yeah, so if he could land,
that's what people were looking for.
Yes.
That be straight, be upfront with it, and say, listen, I'm done with this guy. I have to get a new captain, and we move on from him. And that's what many thought, wasn't coming, because they were waiting for that. So be firm and say, this is it.
That's why I call it a circus.
Yes, so
because he wasn't upfront with.
Yes.
And folks thought there were certain schemes behind it. So I call it a circus because he should have been straight. Yeah. Like you said. Yeah. Well, I have decided if you check the team he had at the time, they were much younger and the team was faster. So you should have just said, I want a faster team, and he will slow down our transition. So he can't be part of my team. That's it. He didn't have the courage. I won't fault him too much, but there was a circus. So, and there were some who were so fiercely loyal to the notion of merit that they wouldn't allow Otto to get away with what he was talking about being, hedging on the truth here and there. The guy was playing consistently. If you had an issue with him, convey it to the press, let the media convey it to the public. What was the basis for not calling him? Just tell us. But like I said, he probably wasn't courageous enough. But I knew, when I looked at the team, I knew they had no place in it. Because the team was much younger and was very fast. And at that point, I knew he was never going to call him, even though he couldn't say it. So given that circus, you didn't then have to compound it by giving that number 10 jersey to Kudus, and make Kudus the captain too, at the same time when Jordan had been captaining. So that was the circus.
Yes, but I want us to stick to the kind of selections that we're making, even as we prepare towards 2026, whether so far what you've seen is based on merit and really what should be done even as we look forward to 2026.
I'm alarmed on two fronts. The GFA president saying only certain category of players will be called. He's not a coach. It's alarming to me. It tells me if you maintain Otto as the head coach, he will continue to dictate to Otto Adu. Because he's setting the criteria now. It wasn't Otto talking. It was the GFA president saying only category A, B, C players will be called. So he's already determined for the coach. It's obvious. There's no running away from it. He has already determined for the coach. So if Otto is maintained as the head coach, we're heading for disaster again. There's no escaping it. By that statement by Kurt Okreku, he has already told the world, I decide. It's not the coach. And it's a flashback to a statement he made during an interview that no coach will determine anything without my say-so. This is a flashback to that. He didn't say it in so many words, but by saying these are the kind of category of players who would play, he has determined it. And he shouldn't be the person to determine. Besides that, my concern is that I've heard President Mahama say, we're going to get the ultimate. We're going for the ultimate. I've heard the minister also speak in certain settings as though we're also going to get it. They're talking about getting the ultimate.
Yeah.
Now, that's the presidency and the minister. Now you have the media also talking different language. Like the media does not expect Ghana to go win it. That's also one side. And then you have other people saying, whether you like it or not, Otto is taking us there. Now, in my estimation, given Otto's records, he did, and Dr. Cranton referred to, similar competition in the AFCON. Without any reinforcement, he couldn't make it. Scientifically, you can state that with the reinforcement, given the similar competition, he has made it this time, and you can point to the reinforcement as the difference. Because without the reinforcement, with similar competition, he couldn't make it. So scientifically, you can point to that. Now, if indeed President Mahama and Kofi Idi Adams, the sports ministers, sentiments or what the indications they've given so far are that we are going for the ultimate, Otto is not the guy. I'm not saying he should be fired. He played for Ghana. He scouted for Ghana at the 2014. Ghana has invested deeply into Otto Adu. His contract will run out sometime next year. I think he should be kept on or even renewed for the next 4 years. When after this World Cup, by the next time, he will be fully in charge of the team and it will be better developed technically.
So he should be kept. That's your
yes,
position.
but not to lead the charge. Not to lead the charge. That's my take. Because I'm going by what President Mahama has said and what the sports minister has said. If we are going to go get the trophy, he can get it.
We'll get back to
especially that. Given the extra degree of difficulty. Now we're going for 48 countries instead of typically in the past. Last time we went to the USA, it was 24. 24.
Then it went to 32.
Yeah. So now it's double the last time we went to USA. Now it's double. It's 48.
We'll come back to that, but I want to get your thoughts on it. I don't know where you stand because we've heard the sports minister say in interviews that he's not too impressed with the performance of the team. He thinks that we can do better even as we're preparing for 2026. Even the same comments about the coach as well.
You see, I always say that we expect too much from our players, from the team.
Oh no, Rosie.
No, let me land. We expect too much from a team.
Maybe we're not realistic.
That is now coming together. I mean, if you get a team and you get players and they are not getting to know themselves, they had barely played for.
This team went to the last World Cup.
This team is being together.
They went to the last World Cup.
Can she make a point?
No.
Please allow Rosalind to make a point.
80% of these boys played together in the last 2 hours.
Even the last World Cup.
Mr. Asma, please allow her to make a point and then I'll come to you. Yes.
She's used to it.
It's fair, but what I'm saying is that you have not had the core of the team. You might have had players coming and go, but consistently, and you all know the psychological issues that have gone through the coach. One moment somebody is in charge, the next moment another person is in charge. And so you don't, if you want to talk about a holistic team, you cannot say that this is a holistic team. They are getting used to it and they are getting there. And so for the minister to have come in to say that you are not impressed, are you not impressed with what they are doing? And so if you are not impressed, that is what you have. Are there any other players who deserve to be playing?
He wasn't talking about the playing body.
No,
he was specific.
No, what I'm saying is that
the coach.
He was talking about the coach
and the team and everything.
No, he was specific. Coach.
He
didn't talk about the team. He was very specific about the coach.
On that note, is Ghana ready? The ministry.
That question should never arise.
No.
Okay, if you could land.
The price is proportionate to the price.
Ms. Asma, let her land and then we'll go into stuff.
There have been coaches who have expressed interest to handle Ghana. The only reason has been affordability. It has always been affordability when we are going to the markets to shop for coaches. It has always been affordability. The kind of coaches that we would want to come.
Affordability is $50,000.
No, what I'm saying
is that affordability.
What I'm saying is that
we've come a long way. $50,000 every month.
We've come a long way, but the kind of coaches that you want to come and turn things around within 24. I mean, within 2 months, 3 months, are the ones that we, the same people, would come and say that look, we are spending too much money on the team. And so for me, I always say that in the past we did well. I mean, we've gone for coaches who we thought didn't have the pedigree, but they came and they delivered.
Like who?
Milo, did he deliver?
He did.
Yeah, Milo Van Rijvaart was. I mean, he took us to our best finish.
But he had a track record.
Yeah.
For the under 20 team and the under 23 team.
So, Mr. Asma,
at least he was rising. He had something.
Senior World Cup.
If you could land.
Yeah, he hadn't been there.
Yes. So when we come back, we'll continue with this. We'll also hear from the Minister in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwachofosu, as well as Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. Stay with us. And you're still here on Agenda on TV3. My name is Beatrice Adu, and tonight we're looking at Black Stars qualification to the World Cup in 2026 and what's in for us. Already a number of submissions made, but I did promise you that we'll hear from the spokesperson of government communications, Felix Kwakye-Ofosu, talking about some of the issues that have come up in recent times ahead of the 2026 game. Let's watch him, and then we'll come back to continue the conversation.
There have been a flurry of requests by some Ghanaian players born overseas or who are playing overseas to be considered for selection. And many people have expressed outrage at this development and demanded that only players who were available for the qualification series should be considered. Mr. Speaker, I call for some caution in the way that we approach this matter. It is true that there were some players who rebuffed our entreaties in the past because perhaps they were hedging to see if nations who have a higher profile in international football will give them a call. But there are areas in the team that require some improvements. And therefore, I will call for sober reflection on this matter so that in the areas where we are weak, if there are players who have shown greater ability than the current players we have, we consider them based, of course, on merits, because there's something to be gained from doing so. Sometimes, if we are not careful and we act out of emotion, we may make mistakes that will come back to haunt us.
Felix Kwakye-Ofosu there talking about merit. I did tell you that also we have had an interview with Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, who is a former president of the Ghana Football Association. Let's watch his thoughts as well, and we'll come back to the panel in studio.
I would rather suggest, right now maybe it might be too late, more local boys should be encouraged to play the Black Stars.
That means you agree with the GFA president, Keto Kweku, who said that he doesn't want mercenaries in the Black Stars because Ghanaians who play foreign games see the Black Stars as a second fiddle. He doesn't want them. Unless they show real passion.
Unless they show what?
Real passion and commitment to Ghana.
No, commitment. Commitment to the country. And mind you, all the 4 cups that we won so far, right now from the time of Osajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the members of the team have been local players. Absolutely local players. I think the last one we played in Libya, where we won for the last time, maybe there were 1 or 2, Abedi Pele and somebody, I can't remember now. The players were all local players.
So are you saying that we shouldn't take the Ghanaians who are playing foreign games?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
Ghanaians playing in foreign matches, in foreign countries, is quite in order. But I say we should encourage our own local breed here. If we watch other African countries, that's what they do. We are not the only country in Africa which has qualified. If we have experience, the question is, you need competent and experienced people to play the ball for the country.
Was he too harsh when he said he doesn't want mercenaries in the Black Stars?
He doesn't like what?
Mercenaries in the Black Stars.
I think that was too strong a word. Because who is a mercenary?
Spying for another country.
Exactly. But at the same time, he will come to fight for you because of money. You follow me? And I think that is too strong a word. Mercenaries in the Black Stars, that can be stopped by the FA himself, FA itself.
So how do you then determine who is committed and who has passion for Ghana?
When these boys play ball, some of us, we watch them carefully. Those who play in the foreign country, we know those who have committed themselves. You can see them. You can see them. They kill themselves for the match. The last one that we had in South Africa, I mean, you saw it yourself. You follow me? Now, what I think the nation needs now is experienced footballers. You don't look whether the person is a mercenary or whatever it is. If the person is experienced, it's the topmost football competition that we are going to watch. And you don't have to fizzle out from the first, play. You follow me? So we should rather focus on getting topmost footballers, whether they took part in preparation for us to qualify or not. If we find them to be topmost, especially strikers, if we find them to be good, why not?
Ghana has qualified, and you said you're happy about it. Nonetheless, there are people who are still criticizing the team. They think, including the sports minister, they do not think that this is the best performance we can give yet. What are your thoughts?
This country, at times when I think about it, I feel like laughing. This country was so outstanding when it comes to football years ago. Kwame Nkrumah, under his leadership, we won 2 cups. And it's as simple as that. He had interest in football as a president. He picked somebody who gave him the results he wanted. And that person was in the name of late Ohinijan.
A stadium is named after him.
You see?
A stadium is named after him.
Exactly. Ohinijan was interested. He promoted football to the highest level, and we won.
And you watched earlier Phyllis Kwachiofosu, a government spokesperson, and also Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, the former GFA president. But I'm coming to you, Dr. Kranting, because you seem to have very strong views about what initially Ket said, which is why both Felix and Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo reacted.
Yeah, but I asked if indeed the president of the FA used the word, the vocabulary mercenary.
He did.
He did. But that's unacceptable. So who is a mercenary? 46 players played in the qualifiers to the World Cup in North America next year. Are we going to take all 46 players to the World Cup? Maximum, maybe FIFA will increase the numbers and do 27 or 30, at worst 30. Can we accommodate all 46? Now, the history of our World Cup participation, 5, the last 6 editions of the World Cup, has always had players who may not have played any part in the qualifiers who ended up going to the World Cup. And again, can't people change their minds? I mean, we have a president of the FA who I believe has changed his mind a few times. So that maybe the qualification for the World Cup this time around is also as a result of a part decision to change things we did in the past. So people have got the right to change their minds. It depends on how that player handled the call-up at the time you called him, so that if he was not respectful, if he was not cooperative, etc. Any player can give you can tell you that at this point, I am not in the right frame of mind, I'm not ready to play for Ghana. I will make that decision another time. So, what should be the basics for the coach making a decision who goes to the World Cup? What should it be? It should be that we've got targets to reach at the World Cup. It is to win the World Cup. It is to get out of the group. It is to get to the last 4, last 8. And you need quality players to do that. Where do we find these quality players? So that every coach has a core of a squad. Every coach. Your 10, 15 players, you always know them. If they are fit, they are on the plane. Then you need some players on the periphery. You're thinking players who can come into a game and make a difference. You're looking at players who give you a good feeling in camp, players whose conduct is good, spiritually are good, etc. All of these things come together to make a good team. So that if we're making decisions as to which player comes in at any point in time, the biggest consideration is, does that player give us a leap in general squad quality so we can compete at the levels we want to
Let me go to Rosalind, because this also brings up the question of whether or not as a country we have a philosophy. Because now if we are talking about who we should bring in and, the comments about mercenaries and stuff, then you want to find out what is your philosophy for football, which will help you win or lose.
Unfortunately, if you talk about philosophy, the philosophy is only just about the playing style. We don't even talk about the mode of recruitment. And so we do not. I think in the last few years since we went to the last, we made an appearance, we made our debut at the World Cup. The philosophy has always been that bring any Ghanaian anywhere who is good enough to play to help us to win. And so we have done that at the detriment of developing our locally based stars. And that is what has also contributed to the fact that somebody tries to shine a little bit on the local scene, and the next moment, the person is also going to chase for a foreign contract because the player feels that that is how I may also attract the attention of a coach to get at, forgetting that, look, going out there has its own attendant problems of cultural shock, readjustment, and which can psychologically affect you and affect your play. So you realize that we do not have local players. And for me, I have always been an advocate for having a balance. Yes, because of the talent, Ghana has lost most of her talented players to Europe and elsewhere. Those, there are some who were also born there, but who feel inclined to come and play for Ghana. Those people are also there. But what do we do? What is the deliberate effort to grow the home-based players, to help them develop? And that is how come when you are talking about talent, development, and growth, you will always want to talk about a certain coach who in 1992 came and brought on the Frimpong Mansos, Sam Johnsons and co. Do we still have coaches? And it looks like now coaches don't even have time to develop the players. They are looking for results. They are more results-oriented instead of development-oriented.
Because Ghanaians are asking for results.
No, and that is what I'm saying. You can always combine it. Whoever thought that Benjamin Asari would come to command a place in the team, to even become the first team choice. But it is happening now. So we are not saying that it should be a wholesale or looking at the rate of development and the fact that development and progression has to go hand in hand. You need to do a percentage. So for instance, I have said that, look, going into the World Cup, there is something that local players and local clubs would stand to gain when their teams show up at the World Cup. Can we say that, look, we have our team, the core of our team is going to be 100%. Can we do 80-20 so that the 20% of the world, the local-based players who would go, they may not end up playing, but they will go and get the exposure, the experience. It will build their confidence. And that is how you also help them out to come and say, okay, now I know that if I stay back, I will get a place, I will be able to fight for a place in the national team. But we have more or less placed progression and results over development to the point that we don't even want to give anybody any chance.
Let me come to you, Mr. Azuma. Going into 2026, what do you think should be done in addition to what Rosalind just told us?
I think we ought to prioritize the target first. I'm not even talking about quota or anything. What's the target? That's why I'm worried about the confusion, because I heard the president say we're going for the ultimate. The sports minister has spoken to it too. Now,
the ultimate is winning the
title. That's right. That's what the president said.
You're one of those people who think it's possible.
No, I am not saying
you see,
okay, but I want to Mr.
There are a lot of diffident souls in this country. We don't believe we can achieve anything.
Do you believe we can get there?
Absolutely. The indication was given in South Africa when Ghana got to the quarterfinals. But for my sister Rosalind's best friend, Suarez, the probability was that we could have gone farther. Now, I have always believed in Ghana. You see, especially most of the sports media are more diffident than ever about the chances of Ghana.
But what is the
They don't believe. They forget that Ghana has won at the World Cup at under 17 level, won it at under 20 level, won bronze at the Olympics when no African country had ever done so at all. Right? So, and then won the under 20 at the world level until Morocco just tallied it. They forget that it's the same Ghana.
We've been overtaken.
No, wait. No, wait. But they forget that it happened. When was the last time Uruguay won the World Cup?
1930.
Okay, thank you very much. And they're still a powerhouse in world football.
Because of the
No, but when was the last time they won? I'm dealing with the overtaking.
They have not played in the World Cup for 2-3 editions.
That's right.
And they returned in 2010.
Okay, but they started in 1930. I believe, just like President Mahama said, like the minister said. So if that is the ultimate, I want us to be able to direct our energies the right way. Are we indeed, was President Mahama saying it in jest? Was Minister Kofi Adams saying it in jest?
To win the cup.
Are we saying that they are joking? Are we, the rest of us who don't believe?
You are dreaming big.
You see, I'm used to it. It's nothing to me. I'm used to big things. So it's nothing to me.
We are dreaming big.
You see,
please
so I believe in it. So once that is the target, then we have to get a communication plan with the target as a country. And I was expecting our friend, the government spokesman, our brother Fosu Kwache, to speak in certain settings to assure us that what the president said should be taken serious.
He has a mind of his own, man.
But if what he's saying, and he's the government spokesperson, he's saying that he's describing Otto Ado as one of the best hands we've ever seen. In the terms that he used, I don't want to repeat them. It's as if he's just a master hand. Then we are going there for disaster. And it will be in contrast to the aspirations of the president, the sports minister, and to most people. I believe we can do it. But we cannot do it, go for the ultimate with Otto Ado leading the charge. He should be part of the team.
So he should be assisted. That's what you're calling.
But he shouldn't be the head coach.
We already have a technical advisor in the
I'm not talking about technical.
What else does he?
I didn't mince words. I didn't say advisor. I say head coach.
And what I'm saying.
No, but advisor is different.
So who should
exactly.
I want
because of the target.
But the president says the president of the FA says Otto will lead us.
No, I'm not talking about your friend Keto Keku. I'm talking about the president of Ghana.
No, but my friend.
No, he's not the president. He's not the president of Ghana.
No, but he runs football.
But I'm saying,
and he says the coach for the Ghana team at the World Cup. It's
unfortunate. Okay. No, but it's unfortunate he's already talking not about the coach, that he's determining which players should play. That tells us we are heading for disaster.
Because he runs the football.
No, but you see, it's different. The ambition of the country is led by the country. He set the target. The president says we're going for the ultimate. Is that a crime? To aim high.
And the president of the
forget that. I'm not talking about the person low down there. I'm talking about the boss.
Okay.
The president of Ghana says we are going for it. Okay. Then in line, his minister is saying we are going for the ultimate. If that is the case, then you shouldn't be telling us Otto is the one leading us.
You don't believe it?
No. He's saying no. Unless you are joking about going to win the title.
But is it not possible for him to lead us?
No.
To win?
No. So I'm not here.
It is not enough. I have said.
No.
What is not enough?
No, I have said that it is important we qualify to play in every major tournament.
But what is not enough?
It is not enough to get to the tournament and get out of the
I want you to hold on, because at the end of the day, and there's a point, Rosalind Amu, you made about we not developing our local players. We don't seem to be preparing what we need for the future, which is why perhaps the Black Stars has suffered since 2006, our appearance at the World Cup. And so people are questioning our appearances. What have we done with the gains that we've made? I just want to remind us just a little bit regarding how much, for instance, we got and what we did with the monies in 2006, in 2010, 2014, 2022 as well, we went. And then we'll come back to what we need to do even as we appear. So, of course, in 2006, we played in Germany, right? Yeah. And we gained about $5.84 million.
Dwarfed by the expenditure going into the World Cup.
Yes, we had some bonuses. So key uses, bonuses, per diem, scouting, logistics. Then in 2010, we played in South Africa, the Suarez bit that, yes, Mr. Asma talked about. We had about $11 million reported, and then what we spent the money on: players, technical staff bonuses, travel, logistics, serving loans, because we actually took loans before we went in there. In 2014, we played, it was Brazil. We had about $8 million, what is reported. And again, we spent the money paying loans from the government, which was about $4 million. Of course, reimbursed $3 million advance to players, logistics, outstanding debt. And in 2022, of course, 2018, there was no show. 2022 was in Qatar. We got about $10.8 million. The sports ministry says that part will go to national team preparations and infrastructure. And we've had the FIFA, right?
Yeah, FIFA.
Saying that our stadia not good enough. Yeah. The one in Kumasi, one in Accra, we've had issues with that. Rosalind Damo, you talked about we're not preparing people.
That's why I said we don't plan.
Yes.
Because, I like to compare to a country like Morocco. Morocco has, over the past 10 years, decided that they want to position themselves in a certain space within world football. And so, apart from the king and the government making deliberate efforts to improve upon facilities and investing, they have also helped with player development. They have helped with raising the standards for the national team. When Morocco, and I always say that, look, because of their proximity to Spain.
I'll be glad if you could summarize your final thoughts so we could wrap up.
So for me, I think that we never plan, and some of these things that we're seeing, the expenditure and all that, it is because we are also not doing what it says. Because at the end of the day, if even the facilities here, what have we done to say that, look, we are also going to help with the player development? We don't even have any substantial edifice or monuments to show off for our participation in all the World Cups.
Dr. Kranting, what have you got to say regarding what we need to do? There are reports that we may get between $10 and $13 million, even more, depending on the stage we reach.
No, the truth is, there's no amount of money we will make participating in the World Cup by reaching the final and winning it and getting maybe $50 million plus
$50
USD.
million.
If we get out of the group, you're getting a little over 10 million or whatever. Now, that money is dwarfed by the expenditure that went into qualifying you to the World Cup. That money will return to chest. At worst, part of it will be given back to the FA to do a few things. Developing football and progressing it the way we want requires more than how much you get playing in the World Cup.
Please, your final words in like 30 seconds.
My concern is the government should be in sync in communicating to the public. President Mahama says we're going to win it. Sports Minister, we're going to win it. Fosu Kwachi is saying we are retaining Otuado. And it's incompatible with the target. So that's confusing. So they should get their communication plan right. And then we should we should hear from President Mahama swiftly within the next 1 to 2 weeks. We get a new coach, or we are confirming Otuado as the head coach.
Thank you very much.
No wasting of time.
Let me read some of your messages just very briefly. Nana Champon says, let's take politics out of our games. Soccer is pure entertainment. No one should use it for petty political gains. There's also one from Jacob. Okay, let me just read one more just from YouTube. And Kwame Duse says, by mercenary, the GFA president perhaps may be talking about players that, for instance, caused division and mayhem in Brazil in 2014. Well, thank you very much for joining us on Agenda Tonight. To you, Mr. Eko Asma, author, also sports journalist. To you as well, yes, Dr. Ernest Kranting, Chief Executive, the Back Group. And of course, Madam Rosalind Krama Amo, journalist with Daily Graphic. Thank you very much, gentlemen and lady, for joining us on Agenda Tonight. My name is Beatrice Adu. Join us again. And thank you as well for staying with us. Join us again next week. Have a good evening.